Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00. This is my Vlog series. Today we're looking at the lesser known Spartan II washouts. The Spartan II training program led to the creation of the finest soldiers humanity had ever seen. The augmentation procedures for the Spartan IIs also had the highest mortality rate of any of the subsequent Spartan classes. This necessitated the need for Spartan II candidates to meet very specific genetic markers, setting them at the peak of viability for the augmentations to take place. That being said, the augmentation procedures that were approved still fell within tolerable failure limits of approximately 12.5%. While we often hear about the successes and battle prowess of the Spartan II super soldiers, we seldom ever hear about the washouts and discharged Spartan candidates, so let's shed some light. 12 Spartan II candidates were discharged from the program after failing the augmentation procedures, most becoming severely crippled. The majority of these former candidates were later reassigned to the Office of Naval Intelligence. However, Dr. Halsey had hoped that some might be rehabilitated and enter service as fully functional Spartans. Now, officially, 30 Spartan candidates were killed when they failed to adapt to their physical enhancements. The only identified fatality was Spartan 073. However, at least one of the candidates allegedly killed by the augmentation procedures actually lived and were pressed into ONI service, their survival being kept secret from their peers. Serene Osman 019 became an ONI operative. This was presumably made possible by Halsey's insistence that no invasive autopsies be performed, and that the funerals of those killed by the procedures be closed casket, the cadavers instead remaining in cold storage. The doctor considered that some of the deceased Spartans may someday be resuscitated and placed into active service. By June 27, 2525, rehabilitation protocols were in development for 80% of the washouts, with AIs predicting a total survival rate as high as 50%. Halsey also noted her consternation over what ONI may do with a secret team of officially deceased Spartans, coincidentally predicting Black Team's survival. But to give a rundown of the known washouts, let's start with Kirk 018. He was discharged, possibly rehabilitated, for which Halsey had expressed hope. She explored quite comprehensively in her journal about possible surgeries that could correct the many consequences of his original batch of augmentations. Serene 019, that's Serene Osman. She rejected most of the physical augmentations. Physical damage was largely repaired by ONI, and she was recruited as an ONI field agent, adopting the surname Osman. She later became the protege of Admiral Margaret Parangoski, and was handpicked by the latter to lead the Black Ops Team Kilo 5. She now serves as the Commander-in-Chief of the Office of Naval Intelligence as of September 2558. Soren 066, discharged due to failures in the augmentation process in 2525, listed as missing in action on Reach after defecting to the insurrectionists, presumably killed before or during the fall of Reach. Jamie 074, discharged due to failures in the augmentation procedures in 2525. Fatal cardiac volume increase was the diagnosed cause of death due to over-adaptation to the muscular enhancement injections. It was held in cold storage until the development of a Spartan IV augmentation that could potentially assist in rehabilitation of washout Spartan IIs. A synthetic binary cardiac system that could supplement his biological cardiac system re-engineered some of his muscles, and additional biological repairs led to 074 being brought back into active service as of 2550. This medical breakthrough demonstrated the Spartan IIs could be additionally augmented with Spartan IV grade augmentations to assist in revival or simply increase operational functions not addressed in the original augmentation sets for currently operationally effective Spartan IIs. 074's exact whereabouts and service record from 2550 onwards is completely unknown. Cassandra 075, discharged due to failures in the augmentation procedures in 2525, residing on the M25L recovery station as of October 2552. Following the fall of Reach and the subsequent discovery and destruction of a Halo ring, Installation 04, she reached out to John 117, survivor of both. She expressed relief at the fact that he was still alive and informed him that her recovery was still ongoing. She would soon be proceeding to the fourth stage of her rehabilitation. This step in the process would be more painful than prior ones, but she noted that, at the very least, she was grateful to be covered in skin once more. In her message, she also commented on John's imminent acquisition of the Mark VI platform of Mjolnir-powered assault armor, and her reticence to see further Covenant technology used in humanity's own technology. She told John that she and the others missed him, and that she had asked Sergeant Major Avery Johnson to let her know if Chief was ever near M25L. She closed on a sad note. Given the current state of the galaxy, and the loss of so many that had been family to she and John, and promised to contact him again in the near future. Renee 081, discharged after washing out, presumably rehabilitated, for which Halsey did express hope in her journal, specifically for Renee 081. Fahad 084, discharged and reassigned to Oni, suffered uncontrollable muscle spasms due to failures in augmentation. No longer physically fit to serve as a Spartan, Fahad was discharged from the program and was relegated to a desk job within the Office of Naval Intelligence. In May 2540, he published a paper on slipspace physics that later appeared in UNSC Astrophysics Journal 0342301. Musa 096, forced into a wheelchair for the rest of his life due to the augmentation procedures. He held a grudge towards Dr. Halsey and the Office of Naval Intelligence, not only for his own personal predicament, but for all of the other candidates who were either maimed or killed by the augmentations. Even though he viewed the Spartan II program as morally repugnant, Musa also recognized the importance of their accomplishments during the Human Covenant War. He believed that the Spartans were still necessary in the aftermath of the war, and as a result he proposed that more Spartans be created in the form of the Spartan IV Program. He, with the help of June A266, developed the Spartan branch and became a commander and the head of the Spartan IV Program. Ralph 103 failed to adapt fully to the augmentations, discharged due to experience irreparable physiological trauma after escaping the program in 2525. Later joined the UNSC Marine Corps, killed in action during the Human Covenant War. It's worth noting at this point that Douglas 042, Jerome 092 and Alice 130, the three members of the currently active Red Team attached to the Spirit of Fire, were all washouts of the augmentation procedures but were successfully rehabilitated and drafted back into active duty. It must also be remembered that while 150 candidates were shortlisted for the Spartan II program, funding was only allowed for 75 of them to actually be taken on. The augmentations killed 30 of the 75 conscripted children. Only 33 survived the procedures without physiological deformities, of whom 2 would commit suicide in the following weeks upon encountering their flash clones. The bodies of those candidates who washed out were placed in cryonic suspension in the hope that they could someday be resuscitated. At least some of the candidates who were crippled may have been physically rehabilitated in later years. That means only 31 made it to active duty without any ill effects, while a total of 42 were otherwise killed or crippled by the procedures. The list I've provided here were only the 12 known members who were crippled. The remaining 30 who were killed and held in cryonic suspension may either still be there, will likely have now been rehabilitated. This is justifiable as the active Spartans and rehabilitated Spartans together totals 43 members, while there are 53 Spartans on record of having actually served at some point between the augmentations in 2525 and present day in 2559. This means a further 10 members who were in chronic suspension have since been revived and rehabilitated, leaving another 10 members still unaccounted for. Remember, those Spartans would also have not aged at all during their suspension, and since Spartans live significantly longer than normal humans anyway, we can safely assume that there will be Spartan IIs available to watch over humanity for a long time to come. There is no class of Spartans better than the Spartan IIs after all. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below and I look forward to what you have to say. If you're new to the channel and like lore theories and Halo technology being analysed at insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so next time I put a video out, you're told the second it hits the shelves. Also, if you really like the channel, consider popping over to Patreon and give whatever support you can over there. It massively helps me out and frees up more time for me to put into this Halo content and other Halo related projects. Thanks again everyone. Now go rest your brain.